You know guys, I understand that today's video topic has been spoken about so many times by just about everybody with common sense, honestly. No matter what game we're talking about, honestly. It doesn't even need to be Call of Duty. Obviously over here we talk mainly about COD, but skill-based matchmaking has been beaten like a dead horse by so many different people in so many different ways that whatever I have to say in today's video is probably something you've heard multiple times. You've probably heard it from me myself already.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
But as skill-based matchmaking has the tendency of doing, it is a topic that is widely discussed in waves. And here in the Call of Duty community, skill-based matchmaking has kind of formed into a few other problems, you know, things that are just byproducts of skill-based matchmaking, and even in other games. Okay, there's other games that are heavily influenced by skill-based matchmaking, or SBMM, and I think it's only right that we discuss how SBMM has essentially ruined or is contributing towards ruining so many of these games that used to not have it, and now that they do have it, people are obviously not very fucking happy about it. But before we get into it, guys, I need you guys to do something. Take a look at the Scatmaster's name down there on YouTube. What does it say? It says 29.9. You guys, we are about 50 subscribers away from 30,000 subs. I'm gonna keep it simple. To Activision, to all of these other multi-billion-dollar corporations, you guys can suck my fucking balls, okay? This is a testament to how many people dislike you guys. Leave a like on the video, guys. Subscribe if you're new, alright? Lay that fucking scrote all over these billionaires' eyelids, alright? But check it out, guys. Here in Call of Duty, we have had this plague of skill-based matchmaking, allegedly, since 2007. Now, me personally, I don't fucking buy that shit. I think it has been around since probably Advanced Warfare is when people started to notice it a little bit more. But let's be honest, it wasn't actually like the highlight or I guess the fucking low light of Call of Duty until about 2019 with Modern Warfare 2019, a top 5 Call of Duty of all goddamn time if you're on the motherfucking short bus. To everybody else though, one of the nastiest things we remember about this game, aside from not having a working minimap, aside from no dead silence, aside from the dog shit maps, and all the fucking footstep audio and everything, right, is skill-based matchmaking, and how sweaty everything was if you weren't an absolute shitter. Now, had you been a shitter, you probably had a different experience on this game. And what I'm saying right now is essentially just common sense to just about everybody, okay? You don't even need to be a COD player to understand why skill-based matchmaking is a pile of shit. And before these useless chimpanzees in the comment section start screeching about how I'm complaining or rage baiting, okay, hold on, very quickly. You guys have seen Planet of the Apes, right? I think the Gooch Lickers are evolving. I don't know if they've been mutated or what, but they went from talking stupid like, oh my god, for you rage bait again, all that nonsense, to now just screeching in the comment section like these guys fucking cry like they're like, I don't know what the fuck is happening with these people. You can verbally hear them in the comments section, and they're literally just there as fucking pixels. Before I go any further, if you're gonna get hemorrhoids over my opinion on SBMM, click the fuck out. Get the fuck up out of here. Go do something else. There's plenty of balls for you to gargle out there. Go do that instead.
Now listen!
Listen, over here, in the realm of common sense, skill-based matchmaking is literally anti-consumer and pro-corporation because they monetize off of you. Okay, let's keep it a buck. But here in Call of Duty, it's getting interesting because, as you can see from this tweet here from Caps Locked, I'm not too familiar with him, but if you guys ever come across him, let him know the Scatmaster shouted him out. He comes out with a banger tweet talking about, look, I don't care what Call of Duty said its data showed, pubs should be a random social experience. Ranked is for SBMM, period. I get it, COD has to make money, but when literally almost every content creator is two-boxing because the SBMM is so bad, then it's time to talk about it. Every single thing he said here is absolute fucking facts. The data that Activision showed in favor of Call of Duty having SBMM was absolute bullshit. Okay? Anybody with a brain can tell. If you need to know why the data is irrelevant, there's videos on that. I have a video on that. Go back and look. He says that pubs should be a random social experience and that ranked play should be for SBMM, and I completely entirely agree. Tell me, what is the point of having SBMM in pubs? They want to protect shitters, right? They want to prevent people like myself or people with like a 2.5 and up KD from beating down on these disabled girls the way that Korean Savage did.
Please! No!
I understand, but that's not what the point is. It should exist in a ranked environment, where your rank actually is influenced, where your rank actually matters, and where it's actually tracked and you receive rewards for how competitively you are performing against that sort of competition. If that's not what's being displayed in pubs, then tell me, why the fuck is it there to this extent? I understand that it needs to exist for certain types of players, but that has never been our point. Our point has always been why it's so goddamn excessive. And then we get to this portion about two-boxing. And guys, if you don't know what that is, essentially when you're a virgin and you can't spend money on your lady because you don't have one, or, you know what, let's keep it open-minded here. If you can't spend money on your man or your person or your significant other, then all that money that you saved up from your mother shaking ass on the fucking corner for pennies, you use that on a second console, on a second Xbox or PlayStation, and you create a separate account for it, you shit all over its stats so that you're holding like a .0003 KD, or essentially an MW 2019 fan's KD, and then on your regular account, you join up on that shitter account, and then you hop in a game and you have that account leave, and there you go. You're in a lobby full of MW 2019 fans. And what happens in those lobbies? Absolute slaughterhouse.
Look at you! You was popping all that good shit a second ago, then you got kicked in your chest! You eat a dick, nigga! You eat a dick!
And that's not necessarily a problem if you're like a nobody and nobody gives a fuck about what you're doing, but when you're a content creator, okay, and you're out here essentially promoting the game and you're giving a false image of what you are doing, not only are you creating a false image of the game and the experience, but you're creating a false image of yourself. And that is the biggest problem with two-boxing, which again is a byproduct of SBMM, because all of these people claim that they're just trying to dodge SBMM. Now don't get it twisted. I know there's a lot of content creators out there, very large content creators as well, that have been exposed for this type of stuff, and some of them talk about it on their own. One person I'm gonna say, and this is no disrespect to that person, because he knows I got love for him, I support him, as does he support me. Murder Show. No hate, but I personally disagree with the necessity or feeling of having to necessarily two-box in order to have a certain experience. Him and I, as well as so many other people, agree skill-based matchmaking is not it. It is dog shit. But for somebody like the Murder Show, brother, you are one of the funniest fucking people I have ever experienced on this platform. Your content is funny as shit. And none of that has to do with skill-based matchmaking or your performance in a game. You're a content creator that's extremely dynamic and you can play other games. You're streaming like Wukong or some shit, right? Like, you don't necessarily need to do all of that in order to be successful, because you've already proven that you can be, because your personality shows, you're funny as shit. But this is where I completely disagree. Majority of all of these other two-boxing content creators, I mean, throw their name in a fucking hat and I'll pick them out. Nearly none of them have the personality to hold the weight for their own channel.
Hear me and hear me good, nigga. I'm here to double down. That shit is a two-pack of ass. The fuck are you talking about? That shit stinks.
And the only way their channel is staying afloat is through two-boxing, which is completely manipulative, it is completely false, and it's fake bullshit. And this might be controversial to say right here, but shout out to the Rick, because this guy keeps on exposing people, and honestly, I am for it. It doesn't bother me as a player, you know, I don't really come across these content creators, but I'm not very into the whole like fake it till you make it type of thing, especially when you think you have skill when you really don't. It's just not my cup of tea. Now, if you are somebody that supports these two boxers, that's something a little bit different, because you also don't really affect me. So I don't really have any hate towards anybody that supports these two boxing content creators, the same way that I don't necessarily hate any of the actual two boxers themselves. Because at the end of the day, it is true, whether or not we have differences about it, this entire fucking issue is a byproduct of skill-based matchmaking. And guys, it doesn't even end at COD. This issue has extended its way into so many different games, and this is where we're gonna have to pivot a little bit. And you might be surprised that I'm bringing this up, but a lot of people have been talking about 2K25. Now listen, the Scoutmaster doesn't play that, okay? I'm not really interested in sport games, that's just not my thing. Guys, everybody, and I literally mean fucking everybody, fucking hates the fact that it's in 2K25. Everybody is tweeting about how dog shit it is. Okay, you can relate this to FIFA. People on FIFA, they think it's dog shit. Look, I am a massive fan of Dragon Ball Z, which is under the umbrella of like fighting games. I am under the personal opinion that if I am in a public match environment, put me against random people of all skill levels. Okay? Have ping be king. You want the best internet experience so that you can enjoy your actual fucking game. And if you really want to have this tight-knit competitive aspect to your game, put it in ranked play. And this goes back to a massive game like 2K25 and FIFA. If it's going to exist, put it in a ranked playlist, okay? It's not very difficult to do. It's a very easy concept to understand why it should be that way. But the way these corporations are thinking about it, they are not thinking about the consumer. They're not thinking about their community. They're thinking about the money. They're thinking about the wallet from these players that are actively protected and have their experiences rigged to a point where they themselves feel like they're doing pretty goddamn good because they're experiencing nothing but actual fucking bots, and then they spend money in the shop, okay? It's a psychological thing. You guys have seen Prime Pete in my live stream a couple of days ago. I gave this guy the mic and he went on about monetized matchmaking.
Bro, what the fuck is you even talking about, bro?
Which is some real fucking shit. If you actually think about it. It's not about your skill. It's not about how engaged you are. It's about the money that you're spending in the game. Shout out Prime Pete as well. Fucking W. I talk about these other games where sometimes it's affected as well. Apex, Siege, League of Legends. A whole fucking list of games is affected by SBMM. Some of these games kind of prioritize a ranked playlist environment, and honestly in those games, I think it's much more necessary and I think it's a lot more appropriate, but this is exactly why the corporations do it this way, because their games have more longevity because of the amount of absolute shitters that are being protected who spend money in the shop.
Hey guys, what's going on? God damn you.
To cater to the bad players in your game is not being pro-community. That's called pro-manipulation because you're having people think and you're gaslighting people into thinking that you do care about that targeted audience, when in fact, that's not what you're doing it for. Your entire intention is to get them to open their pockets up. Because think of a game like X-Defiant. The Scatmaster hasn't talked about this in a while. Personally, I don't know what to believe when it comes to the state of that game. I don't know if it's fucking fallen off a cliff and it's dying. And I don't know if that's completely falsified information and it's actually doing pretty good. What I will say though, is that there's no skill-based matchmaking in that game. And what is everybody's opinion about the state of the X-Defiant audience been? That it's completely dead. And then people want to correlate that, oh, you know what, I thought skill-based matchmaking would give you the best game ever. No, because that's not what skill-based matchmaking's intention is when it does exist. X-Defiant is a free-to-play game. The way they're making their money is through the people that buy shit in the shop. But if there's no skill-based matchmaking in it, and we're trying to make a correlation that because there's no skill-based matchmaking, that game is dead, well, they're still receiving income. They're still getting revenue from this, from the players that do play. And whether or not that game has fallen off a cliff in terms of player count is completely irrelevant to the point about being pro-community, because the community that does exist in X-Defiant, I can guarantee you with no SBMM, they are significantly having a better experience, and on the overall, they're having a better time and they're happier than the communities in these other games that do have skill-based matchmaking in them.
Now listen!
You think I'm lying? Go take a look at what these communities are talking about within themselves. You take a look at 2K25, you take a look at FIFA, you take a look at COD. The community is entirely torn. And if that's the state you want your game to be under, all for the sake of money, what does that make you? Anti-community, pro-corporation, pro-money, and pro-gooch lick. But that's gonna do it for me today, guys. I'm curious to know what you guys think about all this. No matter what kind of game you're playing, if it's an online game, do you think skill-based matchmaking is ruining your experience in it? Or do you think its existence is actually hindering certain things in the community? Let me know down in the comments below, and if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell notifications to stay up to date with my newest videos. And yeah, guys, it's been the boy Fooly. Have yourselves a good one. I'm out of here. Peace.
This ain't in my body.